Okay, today's thing is about the perfect week, aka time management. How do you control your life? And what I hope that you get out of it, it's kind of the weirdest time management training you've ever had. Because the way I control my life, and I have a lot of moving verticals, is very different than any kind of seminar I've ever gone to, book I've ever read. So I hope that what I do for me will help you in some capacity. Now, I'm going to use my life as an example as I draw out how I structure the perfect week. You guys, hopefully you have pen and paper, just start scribbling. And then obviously in real world, I use an iCalendar. Yes, I have an iPhone. I noticed Chad sent me a charger with an Android cord. And I was like, really? But, whatever. So that's what I use. But if Google Calendar, whatever you guys use for the technology, that's fine. But let's just get the right concepts down on pen and paper. So keep this in mind. If everybody wants to be like, I want to have a perfect year, like 2023 is going to be my best year ever. And when you go to business planning things, they talk about that. But the reality is how in the world do you control a year when you're not even sure how to control your hours of your day? And for some people, your craziness starts the minute you wake up. And it's because how you wake up and things of that nature. So I hope to shed some light and bring some clarity around that. So couple things is your perfect week will change because unfortunately we are in a business where sometimes we are a little bit controlled, dictated by our clients at times because of their needs and their availability and things of that nature. So you're going to see how I build that in. Now, in my perfect week, I break down my world into non-negotiables and negotiables. And we're going to start with the topic that I call non-negotiables. And these are things that I don't really care what's going on. These are top priority. So we're going to start with this. If you all have kids, grandkids, that you help take care of, raise, those are your top priority. So I'm going to give you my example. Now my kids are older. I got a 31, 24, 18-year-old, and then we got a grandson that's going to be 5. So this is what I want you to do if you have kids. Obviously, you got to take them to school. So somewhere in your time calendar, you know what time you leave the house and what time you get back. So you would put take kids to school. And that's it. Don't worry about waking them up. Don't worry about feeding them breakfast right now. It's just take them to school because that's non-negotiable. They can't be late to school. So in my case, the greatest thing is my son just graduated. He obviously has been driving. I don't have to take that guy to school. But my grandson, I pick up every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to pick up grandson. And I pick him up every Friday at 3 o'clock from preschool. That's non-negotiable. I pick him up on Wednesdays and Fridays unless there's another major conflict. Now, he goes to karate every Wednesday and Friday. He goes to karate from 4:45 to 5:30. And we're always early. So he gets there by 4:30. So basically, he stays with me from 3. So if I draw a line here, he stays with me till 5:30. And I'm glad you guys are on live because my penmanship, it took me a lot of time just to draw these straight lines yesterday. But right here at 3 o'clock to 5:30 on Wednesdays and Fridays, that is my time with my grandson where I pick him up and I take him to karate, watch him, support him, blah, 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 blah. These are 2 non-negotiable times in my personal world. Okay, they're non-negotiable unless something crazy's happening. Now, all my kids were athletes. My son plays a ton of baseball, and I mean a ton. He's getting ready to go play in the state of Kansas in college in August. So he's got a ton of summer collegiate games. So what I do next is I plug in his games for the week. Now, obviously, I've got them plugged in for the whole season. But let's just say, on a Sunday, I'm looking at my week. I reconfirm when his games are. So, for example, today is Wednesday. He has a game in Fort Collins. We live in Westminster, so just north of Denver. That's a little over an hour away, and they're playing 14 innings. So his game time starts at 5 today, and it's going to go till 9 today, but I got to add a drive time. Now, you see, I'll use a different color. Let me know if you can't see the colors. Today, I'm already conflicted because I have to be in Fort Collins for Dante's games. But I have to allow to drive to Fort Collins today. Do you see my issue already today? And I know this sounds like super elementary, but people run into this nonsense all the time and they're not sure how to figure it out. So the reality today is my daughter is going to pick up her son and take him to karate. So we can leave at 3 o'clock to head to Fort Collins. But that's where I'm going with this is a prime example of your non-negotiables. Now, why am I picking my son over my grandson? One's 18, one's going to be 5. Well, pretty soon my son's going to be playing ball in other states. So we're going to go support him, but we can't make every game like we have his whole life since he was 4, once he's a collegiate athlete. So these are some of our last few times to see him play in Colorado until he goes and plays in college. Make sense? So you put that stuff in there. Now, significant others. You may have date nights. You may have things built into your week for your personal life with your significant other, where every Friday night at 7 o'clock, you guys go out to eat, go to a movie, whatever it is that you do, plug that in. The next one that I would put as a non-negotiable is church. So if you guys go to church on a Wednesday evening, obviously I didn't put Saturday, Sunday here, plug that in. That should be a non-negotiable, right? That's a fixed schedule for you. Clubs. So for example, if your kids play sports, plug that in. Like I told you, if they're in chess club, band, whatever, things that you have to be affiliated with, picking them up from school, plug those in. Those are non-negotiables. Now, if you have a job, because not all CIC agents, or well, actually at any brokerage, are full-time agents. So if you have a job, plug that bad boy in. Obviously, the goal would hopefully be that real estate can replace that income and you can have control your time better. But if you're working and you work Monday, Thursday, whatever, plug that in. Plug that in. That's a non-negotiable. You got to go to work, correct? Now, winning Wednesdays. This is Mountain Standard Time, by the way. So winning Wednesdays for us is at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. That should be a non-negotiable. Plug it in. If you belong to any other like meeting type stuff, like my business partner Eric is very involved with the National Association for Hispanic and Real Estate Professionals, and they have set meetings, events, things of that nature. So for his perfect week, he would plug those in. He's got to attend those. He made a commitment to be a part of that committee. He's got to plug those in. Those are non-negotiable for that week. The other non-negotiables for your week, do you have closings? Plug those in. I would hope that you all go to all your closings. Do you have inspections? Now, I personally do not attend my clients' inspections, but some of you may, but those are usually at a fixed day, at a fixed time. Plug those in. Those are non-negotiable if you go to those. Everybody see where I'm at on the non-negotiable side of things? Okay, so now we have to figure out what time do you need to start your day? And this is where most people derail. And it was ironic because I was listening to Jim Rohn this morning, and he said, if you are not excited to start your day and wake up the next morning, there's something seriously going wrong with you. You should be absolutely excited to wake up and attack the day. So if you're struggling to wake up, get out of bed, get motivated, it's a mindset thing that I can assist you to try to change. But that's how I want you guys to start your day. So I'm going to use, again, my life as an example. Now, before I go through what time, there's some things I think you should do every morning. Now, I call it a morning routine. Now, this has come from different sources. One book I recommend y'all read is Miracle Morning. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. There's 5 a.m. Club. There's a lot of literature out there about getting up and getting going. But I developed kind of my own morning routine from different sources. So obviously, the first thing in the morning routine is you got to wake up. There's 2 things I think you should do the minute you wake up. Number 1 is be thankful that you woke up. Let's just start with that. And the way I do it is, let's say the alarm clock is going off, instead of reaching over and going, oh man, I got to get up. Oh man, I'm tired. Oh, I stayed up too late. Is how about you just say, hallelujah, I'm alive. Now, you don't have to yell that out. Obviously, like my wife would punch me if I yelled that out every morning. She'd be like, what are you doing, you crazy man? Right? Start with that and then be like, you know what? I'm ready to crush it today. Now, I personally, after I do the hallelujah, I have one daily goal. And my daily goal, so when I wake up, we'll put gratitude. Then I have one daily goal. My daily goal is to just create momentum. That's it. I only have one goal every single day, is to create momentum. Doesn't matter what I'm doing in my life, whether it's personal, professional, I just want to create momentum. I want to keep my life moving forward. That's it. So I just remind myself of my daily goal. Then as I go to the bathroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, do all that silly stuff, I do another gratitude thing real quick. And I say, I am thankful for my family, my health, and the opportunities that I am fortunate to create. I say those three things. So we got momentum, and then I'm thankful for my family, my health, and the opportunities I'm allowed to create. And then, again, while I'm doing my little morning stuff, combing my hair, et cetera, I say, what's my purpose? And my purpose every single day is to inspire people to think bigger. That's it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a friend, if it's a client, if it's a colleague. I hope that when you hang up or when we disconnect, or if I see you at the gym, that I hope in some capacity if I inspired you to think bigger. That's it. That's it. Think bigger, do better. That's it. So I accomplished this in how many minutes does that take? Not much, correct? Not much. So then what I add to this is I fuel my mind. And this, again, is all under the morning routine. I fuel my mind. Now, I fuel my mind in two different places every single morning. So I'm going to talk about the first one. So the fueling my mind on the first one is there's a Bible app I listen to that just takes one scripture, has a 2-minute video. I listen to it every morning. Then there's 2 channels on YouTube I like. One is called Strong Motivation and one is called Motiversity. Strong Motivation is basically a combination of Steve Harvey, Joel Osteen, T.D. Bishop Jakes. Sometimes they'll throw in some Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins. They're like 15, 20-minute videos, but they're good. And then Motiversity is a little bit more intense on the mindset stuff. But while I'm getting my shakes ready, my pre-workouts, the stuff I drink while I'm working out, this is what I'm listening to every morning to basically get my day going. So do you see just by this quick morning routine where my head is already at every single morning? It's ready to crush it. It's ready to understand that I have a purpose. Make sense? It's ready to say, be grateful for what I have, et cetera, et cetera. So you figure out now on your daily time, if you had to implement just this, which doesn't take long, we'll say 30 minutes. What time do you need to wake up and do your morning routine by? So we'll just say, we'll go wake up, morning routine. I left wake up, morning routine. We'll just say wake up, morning routine. Wake up, morning routine. Wake up, morning routine. See where I'm going? So that's going to go till, we'll say from 6 to 6:30 in this example. So we're at 6:30 here. You adjust this to whatever makes sense for you. Because now, obviously, remember those kids? If you got to wake them up, if you got to make them breakfast, you got to help them get dressed. My friends, make it after this. Make it after this. Because what happens a lot of times, I had young kids too, is you're chaotic in the morning, right? They don't want to get out of bed. They're being a little difficult. They don't want to eat this. Oh, man, why didn't you buy this cereal? They're kids, okay? They're kids. That's normal. That's normal. But if you've already got your head ready and you're ready to go in the morning, do you think you're a better parent to be able to deal with their nonsense first thing in the morning? And then some days they're little angels, right? And you're like, oh, I wish every morning could be like this. Well, a lot of it is you, believe it or not. So scale this to whatever you need it to look like in the morning. And then if you've got little kids that you got to get ready for school, then you're going to, get kids ready. And then obviously you should have your drop-off time. Now, for me, one big thing for me is I train every single morning. So if you're an evening workout person, put that wherever you go to the gym here. Or if you walk around the lake or whatever the case is, put that in wherever you do it in the evening. For me, it's in the morning. And what I'm going to advocate is even if you're an evening person, is at least stretch, get your body going in this morning routine. It takes 5, 7, 10 minutes just to do a little something, touch your toes, stretch your back out, move your neck around, do something, get that body going a little bit. Okay. So for me, we'll say, this is me. So now from 6:30, we'll say to 7:30. This is 7:30. We're going to say gym, gym, gym. Okay? Now, I just said I train every day. Well, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I still think I'm young, even though I'm going to be 53. I go and spar a bunch of young dudes in their 20s that are all fighters. So we train on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 9. So for me, these again, I consider these in my life non-negotiables. I just waited to put them in here. These are non-negotiables. I can't wait to get to the gym. I can't wait to get to the boxing gym. This is where I want to be in the mornings. Okay? But some of you may train at different times. Okay, now, here's a little trick. I talked about fueling your mind, and this was a little bit more spiritual, more about purpose. There's something else I do at the gym, and there's something else I do driving. I believe you should fuel your mind for personal development. So whether that's books you read, whether it's podcasts you listen to, whether it's webinars you listen to, whatever the case may be, what I do that kills a few, so we'll call it personal development, what I do that kills a few birds is whenever I do cardio at the gym, my personal development is done while doing cardio. So instead of watching Netflix or something like that, I use that time wisely for personal development. On my drive to spar, right? This is my drive. I do personal development. Sticking with me here? Okay. Now, the next thing I want you to put in, believe it or not, is when are you going to shut down your workday? One of the biggest problems we have as entrepreneurs is we don't know how to shut off our brains in the evening. It's toxic, right? It's toxic because you're like, oh, I'm done. And then you go to eat dinner or you go to watch TV or something. And you're like, oh my God, I forgot to send this one email. And you're like, oh, I got to send it. So what I want you to do is have a process to shut down your workday. So whatever time that may be. So like, for example, today, I'm going to use today as an example. This is going to sound a little crazy, but my workday shutdown is going to be right around here when we have to leave. Now, what do I want you to do when you have a workday shutdown? Now, but I use a planner called Goal Crazy Planner. It's called Goal Crazy Planner. It's the best one I found for my life. And what I do at the end of every day, whatever time that is for workday shutdown, so we'll say on a normal day, maybe it's 7 o'clock or something. We call it workday shutdown. I'll use a different color. Workday shutdown is what I will go through and do is I go through and I already have the next day planned. So for example, when I shut down today at, let's say 3 o'clock, I already know exactly what I have to do on Thursday to the T. So I write down all my clients. I write down exactly what step in the process we're at, whether we're setting up closing, inspection, waiting on appraisal, whatever the case may be. I just shift it so I know on my current clients exactly where I'm at, because that's usually what catches you off, right? I write down what bills have to be paid, right? Bills are due at different dates. I write down things I have to get done. I write down my PhD work. I write that everything is organized. So today at 3, if you called me, my Thursday is already organized. Tomorrow, we'll say at 7 p.m., my Friday is already organized. So by doing this, I'm already one step ahead of the curve because I'm not figuring out on Thursday morning, what do I got to get done? I already know on Wednesday afternoon what I have to do on Thursday. I'm one step ahead. And a lot of people, they wait till that day to be like, oh, okay, what do I got to do today? Oh, okay. Well, I probably should call this person. Well, okay. I was supposed to have lunch with this person. You get where I'm going? You're scatterbrained. Be one day ahead. That's it. So when you learn how to shut down your day, what I promise you will happen, this takes 5-10 minutes. What I promise you will happen is you will be able to enjoy your free time in the evening because you feel like you've got a plan and you feel good. Try it today. Now, the last thing that's a non-negotiable, we'll put 10 p.m. and I think you guys can all see the bottom of the page. But I have what's called the bedtime routine, and it's very, very simple. And I stole this from Miracle Morning. When I go to bed and I lay down and I put my head on the pillow, all I do is I replay my day. So today, for those like 12 of you that I can see on the Zoom screen right now, I know there's a lot more of you on here, I'm looking at your faces. At 10 o'clock tonight, I'm going to repicture you guys on the Zoom. And I'm going to repicture the Zoom. And I'm going to be thankful for Chad for giving me this opportunity. Thank you guys for your time, for showing up, right? Unfortunately, I won't see my grandson today. My son's pitching tonight. I'm going to be grateful that I got to see my son pitch. And I promise you, within like a couple minutes, I'm gone. I'm gone. So now, what I tell people is if you learn how to control your evening, think about how you go to bed now. You got this squared away. You're thankful for your day. Now, when you wake up, because your evening and night has been peaceful, how do you think you wake up in the morning? It's a compound effect. It is a compound effect. And these are all things you can control with ease. Okay? All right. So now, let's get to, you actually have clients. I've gone to seminars where people say the most important thing you can do in your business every single day is go after your next client. I've gone to seminars, I've heard speakers, they're very successful. Have you ever done a deal with an agent that operates like that? That doesn't care about their current client? All they're worried about is their future clients? In my personal and professional opinion, they are a nightmare. Because they just don't care. All they're worried about is the next deal. So they'll just respond when they feel like responding. So you'll have guys that are like, well, you know what, I return phone calls at 1 to 1:30 every day. Well, what are you doing from 5 a.m. to 1 every single day? What is it that you're doing? What if you have a deal falling apart? What if you have an appraisal that came in too long? What if we got 96 items on an inspection objection? XYZ. To me, those are important because those are important to my client, correct? So for me, the first thing I do every single morning, and again, remember, I've already prepped, so I'm just going to do this example for Thursday. So Thursday, I spar till 9, it should be 9, is I make sure I do my client follow-up. And remember, I've already planned for it, but I recheck in and make sure I don't need to text a client, call a client, send an email, ask my TC something, reach out to the lender, whatever the case may be. And here's a few tricks for y'all. If you learn on your workday shutdown to send those emails that you would normally send the next morning, but send them that evening, you're now 2 steps ahead of everybody else. Do you get where I'm going? So instead of waiting till here to do the lender check-in, send your email on Wednesday night and be like, hey, hope you're having a good evening. No need to respond to me right away. Just wanted to touch base, make sure my client's file looks like it's going okay. Do you see how I'm now another step ahead on that client? So now when he wakes up in the morning and he's disciplined on related, and he's like, oh my God, I got 136 emails. Well, that's his fault that he's out of control because I'm already 1 step ahead. So my clients right away, the client follow-up to me is a very important part of your daily business. You can't neglect your current clients. That's how you get referrals. Now, what are the other things you might have to do in real estate? Now, my brain is a little bit weird. So my money, my business accounts, my reconciliations, it getting transported to spreadsheets and stuff like that is a very important part of my day. Because if something is off, I can catch it right away. So I spend, 15 minutes every single day just making sure my money is correct, my accounts are correct, my spreadsheets are correct, so that if somebody said, hey, if my accountant said, hey, can you send me your current year-to-date spreadsheet? I could just push it to them immediately because it's pretty much updated every single day because I don't use a bookkeeper. So for me, this is important. You might have other stuff in your life, in your business that's important. Put that in there. But I don't wait for the week to reconcile receipts and things of that nature. To me, that's overwhelming. I just do it daily. Now, prospecting, marketing, videos, social media, whatever it is that you do, you need to fill that into your day. So if you're someone that wants to prospect and you're going to prospect for 2 hours a day, well, you got to build that in. Now, here's a news flash, my friends. I don't know who came up with it. You have to prospect at 9 a.m. in the morning. Like, I don't know if that was developed in like 1970 or something like that. I'm not really sure. You prospect whenever you want. What are you like receiving a sales call at 9 a.m. in the morning from some lead generation company that promises you that they can get you 10 listings a month? Are you ready for that at 9 o'clock in the morning? You might be. Is it better received over here? I gave feedback to a lender one time. He would send a video email out at like 5 o'clock every Friday. And he was upset that he wasn't getting good responses to his video email. And I said, well, why are you sending the video email out? I knew why. I just wanted to ask him why. And basically his whole motive was to tell people that he was going to be around all weekend in case they needed a client pre-approved or anything like that. So his motive was good. His message was good, correct? Like, hey, where your other lenders are on the lake on the boat, I'm ready to work this weekend for you. Cool. What was wrong with sending a message at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon? Are you engaged at work on Friday at 5 p.m.? Are you ready to watch somebody's video Friday at 5 p.m.? More than likely, no. Correct? So I said, well, why don't you send it like on a Thursday late morning or Friday 9, 10 o'clock? Like when people are still in a work mode, and see if you get a better response. So he fixed it, and he did. So again, his message was good, but his timing was wrong. So when you prospect, I mean, you do what makes sense to you. You do what makes sense to you. You don't have to follow this golden rule that you have to prospect between 9 and 11. And if you don't do that Monday through Friday, you're never going to be successful in real estate. Give me a break. So I'll give you a newsflash. I don't prospect. I've never prospected. I'm not cold calling anybody. I'll build my business a different way. So marketing, filming videos. What are you going to do? So we'll take this day. If you realize there's a problem here, I still haven't taken a shower. Correct? So now if I want to film videos, am I going to film videos after sparring and doing all this other stuff and looking grungy? Or am I going to clean up and then take showers? So this goes back to whenever you get ready time in the morning, I'd have to figure that out. So I would be foolish if I tried to say film videos here. Am I already setting myself up for failure? I'm setting myself up for failure, right? So here I would have to do get ready. Then I could film my videos. See where I'm going? Just on how to organize. Again, it just goes back to organizing your day. That's it. And then you can XYZ. Now, let's talk about social media for a second. I learned this from another company I was affiliated in. And I'm sure most of you are on social media, if not all of you, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you do on TikTok, whatever it is y'all are doing. And I learned something called Power Hour from this company. And basically what they said is you should spend 1 hour a day engaging on other people's posts. 1 hour a day. And if you do that, a couple things happens. Number one is you're beating the algorithm, because Facebook, for example, is seeing you comment on other people's posts. And when you comment, the algorithm works to where it's like, oh, well, you commented on XYZ person's post, so now your next post, XYZ is going to see it. You're just beating the Facebook algorithm, for example, by commenting. Like my business partner, Eric, he does a great job. Every day he goes in and wishes whoever's birthday it is a happy birthday. And he's got like a templated post that says, have a happy birthday, great day, cheers. And he's got some beer glasses and wine glasses and some balloons and cakes and all that stuff. And he goes in every single day and wishes those people a happy birthday. So he's beating the algorithm and he's just being positive. So Power Hour is not necessarily about your posts. It's about you being engaging with other people. So now you look at that and you're like, man, 1 hour, I got to fit 1 hour of social media. That's going to drive me crazy. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. So what if you broke up Power Hour into 4 15 minutes? So maybe I'm going to do Power Hour here. Then maybe I'm going to do Power Hour right after prospecting for 15 minutes. Maybe I'm going to do Power Hour again here. And maybe I'm going to do Power Hour again here. And I'm just going to do 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes of just engaging with other people's content. And obviously when you engage, right, just be positive, blah, 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 blah. But what's the whole purpose of Power Hour is just to trick the Facebook algorithm. That's it. Now, if you're going to go to filming videos and things of that nature, I'm actually reading a very good book right now called The YouTube Formula. And the most important thing about you posting or you filming your videos is just consistency. That's it. They don't have to be perfect. And I think many times we get caught up in every video has to be perfect and things of that nature. Consistency will be rewarded over perfection over and over again, over and over again. So you can figure that out. Are you going to do one video a week, 3 videos a week? Are you doing 3 posts a week? There's some trainings that say, Monday you could post a motivational quote. Tuesday you can post, whatever, market stats, or let's just do market stats on Wednesday, and Friday you could post any open houses or something like that. Like you can follow a theme like that. You can just build your own theme of what do you want your feed to look like, where you're offering people content. But it's the consistency of, if you did that, let's say every day, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at a certain time, plus your 4 power hour sessions throughout the day, you will get much better traffic, much better visibility. So you guys can fit that on. Now, you see, we'll use tomorrow as an example. We'll just say that all this stuff, if I was to prospect for 2 hours and do all this good stuff, I'm free between 2 and 7. So this I call flex time. So now your flex time in my business this is when you would fit in showings. This is when you would fit in listing appointments. And if this doesn't work for somebody, I do feel like you do have to be fairly responsive to people. If they call you to go see a house, or, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house. I do believe that, if you do the, oh, well, the only availability I have is next Tuesday at 3 p.m. or next Saturday at 9 a.m. They'll just call someone else, right? Everybody's grandma's cousin's son's daughter's dog is a realtor these days, right? And they blast it all over social media. So if someone were to call me today saying, hey, Al, I'd love to go see some houses, blah, 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 blah. I'd say, hey, right now my son's playing out of town. Is there any way we could squeeze in something between 3 and 7 p.m. tomorrow? Would you be able to make any one of those time frames work? Now, does that sound reasonable to a client? I think it does. And if that doesn't work, it's okay. Well, is there a better time that works for you? They may say, oh, what about Saturday or something like that? Oh, okay, perfect. Well, let's put that in. So my whole thing is, when you have your non-negotiables, now what I would do is, on your calendar, I don't label it as flex time. I just leave it wide open. And I know if I don't have anything during these times, this is my flex time. So when it comes to having to take, actually do real estate, I know where I can be flexible. Obviously, I have to pay. Personally, I have to add time for my PhD work and stuff like that. So sometimes maybe on flex time, I know if I have to write, like for example, sometimes I write when I'm more clear first thing in the morning. So maybe Monday I'm going to write. I get back from the gym at 7:30. Maybe I'm going to write my dissertation here because I'm still fresh, and I might have done the client follow up, all that good stuff, the accounting, and then I'm going to write. So basically, when it comes to time management, I don't think your world should be blocked out. I think if you just think about, in your world, the difference between non-negotiables and negotiable, and get your non-negotiables down, get those down pat. If you get your non-negotiables down pat, then you can just build the rest of your week out. Now, one of the things that I like to do is, on a Sunday night, when everything's kind of shut down, I come in and still kind of do that workday shutdown thing on a Sunday evening, and I regroup for my week. So I'll go through and just look at, what do I have coming up, whether it's closings, whether, the workouts, whether it's other appointments, whether it's stuff with my son's games, my grandson, whatever the case, our team, call it close, whatever the case. I'll just make sure that's mapped out perfectly so that I have an idea of where to start filling slots. Now, one of the biggest things I like to do is I like to schedule a lot of lunches with people. So I do a lot of business over lunch. So a lot of my networking stuff, a lot of my connecting with, whether it's, lenders or title people, or, just other networking people that you're hopefully to build some sort of referral source reputation. I try to do a lot of that over lunches because I figure I have to eat anyway. It breaks the ice a little bit. Some people call it breaking bread. But for me, that's what works really, really well. So, if I was to pull up my real-time calendar, you'll see lunches are a big part of my prospecting per se, because that's how I'm developing my relationships. That's how I'm developing my relationships. There was one of the owners of Keller Williams when I was at Keller Williams one time, and I'll put this challenge out because I thought it was actually very interesting. He said, for the next 90 calendar days, if you just took Monday through Friday, so we'll say that's 20, 40, 60 days. He said, if you scheduled a lunch with somebody every single one of those weekdays, and you went to a restaurant like a Chili's or an Applebee's, you're willing to pay, so we'll say it's $50 a day. So that would be 50 times 60, that'd be $3,000. So if you were to schedule 60 lunches, be willing to pay at a, mid-level place in 90 days from doing those 60 lunches, do you think you could at least get one real estate deal? So you spend 3, and I don't know what your average price points in your state, but in Denver, the average price point right now is, we're in this well into the 6s. So take, that's 18 grand. So if you got one deal, one 18K deal out of spending 3 grand plus all those connections, and if you duplicated that every 90 days, so you got had a 90-day rotation schedule, so that'd be 4 times a year you would take this person to lunch. He said, what do you think your real estate business would look like? Thought it was a very, very interesting concept. Very, very interesting concept. So if that was something that you were going to do as part of prospecting, you would just build that in. You'd build that in. So Sunday night, the trick, just like this workday shutdown, being ready for the next day, my trick on a Sunday night down here on Sunday is just to be one step ahead ready for the week. So Sunday night, I spend a few minutes just making sure my schedule looks good. I'm on par with everything. I send those emails out that I want people to respond to on a Monday morning. So I'm already one step ahead. And what that does is it gives me time in the morning to make sure my morning is fairly peaceful, because when do most people start responding to stuff? Right around here, correct? Right around there. So I'm not frantic when I wake up thinking, oh my God, I got to do a million different things. I've already done it. So the one thing that I believe in work-life balance, I can do a whole different training on the 9 principles that I believe you should have synergistically balanced in your life. But the other thing that I never want to take a part of is, in order to be successful, you got to grind. So when you go back to that Jim Rohn thing of this morning, like if you're not excited to wake up to what I would call grind through the day and just tackle the day and make success, then we got to fix that issue, right? We got to fix that issue. So I have a t-shirt, I just came out with it. I use it a lot with the athletes I coach. And it says, when the dream is real, the grind is fun. And I use my own son as an example of that, because people will be like, man, poor kid, they'll be like, oh, poor kid, he lifts on the baseball field, he's always lifting, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what do you mean, poor kid? He loves it. He loves it. There's no other place he wants to be other than on a baseball field or in the gym. Because for him, he's got a dream of where he wants to go. So for him, the grind is fun. So I use that example. So I just created a shirt the other day. It says, when the dream is real, the grind is fun. So if you think about that, if you guys truly enjoy being an entrepreneur, you truly enjoy being a realtor, then getting up every day and doing the stuff that you got to do to grind it out should be fun. You shouldn't hate it. If you hate it, you're in the wrong industry, right? So just think about that. Think about that for a second. You should enjoy every part of what you're doing in being in the real estate realm. So that's it basically for the perfect week. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Hopefully it gave you guys some tips.